I like to read a lot, and almost anything I can get my hands on. That's been true since I was a little kid. I mean, I read everything. I would hide in my closet at night to read books. But there was one book that I've read over and over again and continue to read, and that's the Bible. Now, I've read this book in a wide variety of manners for a lot of different reasons. But what I do now is I just read the book. Yeah, I have to study it for different things. You know, if I'm preparing a Bible class or something, I might study a particular passage, but more than anything, I just pick it up, read it, and see what it tells me. I see what it tells me, I appreciate the characters in it, I grow closer to it as a book, as a story, as something that's been preserved for hundreds and hundreds of years and passed down and written by multiple authors, and it is a great work. And because of that appreciation, I'm able to open my heart, my ears, my eyes, my mind up to the things it's telling me. I think so often when I was reading it when I was younger, I was reading it in chunks as that sort of obligation feeling of I need to read this every day because I'm being told to, or whatever the case may have been. And that was useful then, but I feel like I didn't get as much out of it. I may have gotten the facts and the figures, and those were good, and I still use them today, I still remember them today, so it served a purpose. But in the long run, what has motivated me to really appreciate the book and the things it had to say and the people in it, and the reason why I remain a Christian today, is because I can read through it and I see the story. The greater story that I am part of, the greater story that motivates me to do the things that I do, to care for the people in the way that I care about them. It's because I just read the book. Now, I do want to say, I currently serve as a minister for a Church of Christ, and I am not representing them here as far as an official statement or whatever. This isn't a church program that I'm part of or pitching or anything right now. I'm talking as Jed Lovejoy, as an individual, as a follower of Christ, an appreciator of the Bible. I like to read that book, the book. And I think so often we get caught up in using the Bible as a study guide, as an instruction manual, as, you know, something that we can pull little chunks out of to use against people later or to have an answer for, and we get lost in those tiny bits of the book that we lose the overarching narrative, the purpose. And I don't think that's what it was intended for. At least for me, I get lost in those little bits, and I lose the importance of the book. I lose the importance of the people who passed that book down and wanted me to read it all these years later. So I just want to encourage you, read the Bible. Pick a spot, beginning, middle, end, whatever the case is. Read the Bible. Sit outside with your cup of coffee. Sit inside with your cup of tea. Whatever the case may be. Find a way to enjoy it just like you would enjoy any other book. Because if you're anything like me, you can get a book that you really like. You can sit down and read it for hours and not even realize the time has passed or not care that the time has passed. But we pick up the Bible, a book that to me is far more important than anything else. And I would read a chapter or two and I would feel tired and I would feel sluggish and I would be like, oh, great, I made it through 2 chapters today. But I might have just picked up another book and read 200 pages. And I think that's when I was losing the focus of how great the book actually is. So I encourage you to read the Bible. Read it like a book that you love. If you want to do that with me, great. I'd love for you to join me in just reading the Bible, whether that's individually or you actually want to get together on the internet if we're separated by too far, at my house, at a coffee shop, whatever the case is. I'd love for you to read the Bible and just grow to appreciate it and understand it. If you're ever reading it and you have questions, great. If you have comments, great. Write those things down. Share those things with other people. We do that with books. How many of you have read your favorite book and then searched out other people to talk with about it? To share your highs, your lows, what you understood, what you didn't understand, why did they do these things the way they did? That's fine. That's good. And the Bible should be no different than any of those other things. Whatever comes out of that is great because it has pushed me to do more approaching it that way. I still study. I still look at the small parts, in preparation for classes or different things. But when I'm on my own, when I pick up the Bible, whether I'm at work or at home or traveling, I'm just reading a book that I love. And I'd love it if that's where you can get in your relationship with what I consider God's Word.